Actually, I did stay up late one night trying to make sure we got things like Joanna's Law passed, and that's why I look so much older. I'm actually only 29, but that kind of stuff ages you over there. I want to thank Colleen, Stacy, and Ramona Howard, Melissa McKibben, and Dr. Kelly Manahan and her husband Nate from Word. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank my wife, who's an internist. She's sitting out there, Samia. I married her because in the middle of the night, if I have heart pains or something, I just reach over and say, "Doc, I need help." It's not because she's talented or pretty or intelligent or all that sort of thing. We have about 11 bills pending before the Congress, in addition to Joanna's Law, that deal with women's gynecological problems and other cancers. And we should have this room filled today. I don't know whether it's because we didn't advertise it enough or because people have a lot of things to do on a Saturday morning. But I want to tell you a story. My wife, Barbara, who died 5 years ago this month, the 10th of May, she had breast cancer. And we got her into a special program. It was early detected. She had a lumpectomy. And we got her into a program with a Dr. Springer. It was an experimental program in Highland Park, Illinois. And it was had not yet been completely approved by the FDA, but it was one of those kind of research programs. There were about 70-some women in it, and all of them did much better than they would have normally. And my wife was one of the very fortunate ones. She was able to defeat the breast cancer, and for 8 years she didn't have any problems. She had a new doctor, a lady doctor here in Indianapolis, and she started developing stomach problems. And the doctor said that you had to develop the beginnings of an ulcer or some stomach problems like that. And so she gave her Zantac and Prolosic, and it helped a little bit, but Barbara's problems kept getting continually worse over the next couple of years. And finally, it got so bad, we were on a trip, and the doctor on the trip told us that she really needed to get a complete physical. So when I came back, I talked to her doctor and said she needs a complete physical, and her doctor said she doesn't need anything, she's just got a stomach problem. So I went over to the doctor's office and got into a pretty heated discussion, and she gave me all of Barbara's records, and I took them to another doctor, and they gave Barbara a complete physical, including a colonoscopy, and they found that she had colon cancer that had metastasized into her liver, and she had 6 months to live. And so the doctor that she was going to was not a good doctor. She misdiagnosed her, didn't give her the proper tests, and so 6 months later, on May the 10th, 5 years ago, she died. The reason I bring that up, and my wife now was one of my wife's doctors that worked on her with complementary and alternative care to try to save her life. And I hadn't seen Samia for about almost 5 years, and my daughter said I ought to call her up because she was single, and I did, and we started dating and we got married. So I guess even horrible things have sometimes a fairly good ending, and I'm very happy about that. But the reason I bring that up is because there are misdiagnoses. There are doctors who are not the best. There are doctors who don't give enough complete tests and do a complete analysis of people's problems. And that's why this seminar is very important. Because what we're trying to get across to women and men, we're going to do one on men's prostate cancer next month, is that they really need to be aware of the danger signs themselves. If they have, for instance, we were talking earlier, and you went into this, doctor, about ovarian cancer, that there's no test for that. That women need to know, notice if they're having bloating, if they're having changes in their bowel habits, if they're having changes in their urinary habits. And if they see these changes, they need to know they need to get to a doctor quickly and get a complete physical and find out what the problem is. The problem is most women don't do it. If they catch it early, as has been explained to me, they have a 90% survival rate, didn't you say, if they catch it in stage 1? But by the time many women catch it, it's in stage 2, 3, or 4, and it's too late. I mean, they maybe can save them. I don't know what percentage are saved in those higher levels. But the fact is, if you catch it early, the survival rate is much, much better. It's that way with almost every kind of cancer you can think of. Cervical cancer, prostate cancer. I worked with the Eisenhower Medical Center out in California, helped raise money for them. And Arnold Palmer's also been working on that out there, helping them. And prostate cancer is another cancer. If caught early enough, a man can have a fairly long and normal life. But if you wait until it gets too far along and don't have a PSA test and don't get the proper tests and have the proper treatment, it can be fatal in a relatively short period of time. So the purpose of this conference was to try to bring about an awareness of the problems, and also to make sure that there's early detection and early treatment. It's extremely important.